Hey everybody, it's Kyle. Let's see. Well, what is going on? Um, Things are ramping back up. I mean, not so much in sales, to be honest with you, but definitely in me getting back into the groove of doing some things again, which is really good. So, right after this break, I'll come back and tell you all about it. All right, so things are ramping back up. I actually took some photos of some inventory over the last week, and I've actually listed quite a few of those things as well. We're trying to pull out some things that are going to be good for colder months and the holidays, of course. Um, Kind of kicking ourselves in the butts for not getting some of the Halloween stuff out. Um, but we do have two nice Stranger Things items that we put up for sale recently. So we're trying to be a little bit more picky and choosy with what we're going to list. There's a lot of things that are listed that really, to be honest with you, we probably should be looking at, um, doing some live selling or something like that just to get rid of it and make space. But we're not really hurting on space right now. And we're also not in a giant hurry. So sometimes those things end up selling eventually, and that's something we've come to realize over time. So, yeah, anyway, let's go right into the three lowest profit sales over the past 2 weeks, really. The first one would be an Ambico tripod. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Ambico tripods, but they're kind of a low cost, not super well made, but somewhat dependable tripod for people who are kind of beginners in photography and especially in videography. I had one. It's kind of like Slik. If you've ever seen Slik, Slik, it's kind of like that, but maybe just a notch cheaper. Um, I had one that I found at a garage sale, and I drove all the way to Topeka, Kansas, actually, and hit some garage sales and estate sales one day because I had the day off. I didn't even realize I had the day off from work, but it's a national holiday. And so I used that day to go source some stuff. And so I found this Ambico tripod in a bag, its original bag, and I thought, man, this might sell. And I was right. It did sell, but it sure didn't, it wasn't worth it, in my opinion. I did have it set up so that the customer pays for shipping, the buyer pays for shipping on this one because I wasn't really sure how I was going to package it and ship it. And then in addition to that, I knew it would probably be pretty expensive and I wanted the price to stay low. So I ended up selling it for $43.16 with tax and shipping and everything. But the shipping was pretty hefty. Let's see, what did shipping cost on that one? Yeah, $15.69. So it's good that I had them pay for shipping because I pretty much had to make a box. It was kind of a hassle. I still felt like I spent way too much time on it. Long story short, we did walk away with $13.91. So that's not a bad profit, but it's something I would really have to think long and hard about again before I buy to sell. So there's that. The next item would be a polo jacket. It's basically a track jacket, full zip, performance track jacket. And yeah, I mean, we'd had it out there for, over 6 months, really. Actually, it was right on 6 months. That's crazy, right on the day. But anyway, we ended up selling it for $31.49. And then we only walked away with $9.80. It did have free shipping. Shipping ended up costing $8.85 for some strange reason. Probably should have just shipped that sucker in an envelope, but shipping has gone up too. So some of these older things that we've had for a while, I haven't bumped up the costs just for the shipping, and I probably need to think about doing that. So we only walked away with $9.80 on that polo jacket. And then the least amount of money we made off of anything would be a Dell OEM power adapter we saw at a garage sale. And we only bought it for $1, which is great. I knew someone would need it, but we didn't have it very long. I think we bought that thing. Yeah, I mean, it was just a little bit over a month and a half. Got it at a local garage sale here. What kicked our butt on this one was it only sold for $17.47 with tax and everything, and the shipping on it was $7.33. Again, shipping has gone up across the board on pretty much everything. So we sold it for $17.47. We only made $5.04. So again, just not worth the time. It really isn't. So, but you know, things like that happen, and things like the me getting, you know, fizzling out a little bit on my gumption and go-getiveness for this business. Those things are going to come up. They're going to have to do. But you got to commit to this gig. Now, the way I'm committed might be different from most people. I'm committed to getting this business up and running so that it kind of just handles itself like it did when I wasn't doing much there for a while. And we actually had a couple weeks that were really great. But you have to be committed to what it is you're doing, and you have to maintain, you know, stay the course, as they say. You got to do that, or else, you know, that's why people quit, I think. And, you know, to be honest with you, eBay makes a lot of decisions that people don't agree with, and I get it. I know why they make their decisions that way, because they're trying to make money. But I also know some things don't seem entirely fair. My biggest problem with them would be somebody can order something from me and get it, and there'll be absolutely nothing wrong with it, but they decide they want to return it. Well, I'm going to get screwed, and that's just all there is to it. I've had a lot of people too recently, and actually it's weird, on the same exact item. I've had multiple people purchase this item or at least say they were going to purchase this item, and then I had to cancel the order. Now, this one was Scent Air. It's a Scent Air Whisper home diffuser. So it's actually really cool, and we got a great deal on it. I'm surprised it hasn't sold yet, but it has not. Well, actually it has. I take that back. I had one lady who I was talking to and said, does this take the Scent Air Pro cartridges? And I said, everything I read online says no, including their website. So I don't think it's going to work for you. It does have a cartridge in it. It's used. I don't know how long it'll last. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, she came back and said, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and buy it. She came back and said, okay, I went ahead and bought it. And yeah, so I'm just going to, assume that it's going to work. We've got like 4 of these things and all that. And I go, okay, well, I'll wait for that order to come across and I'll get it shipped out to you. Well, the order never came across. And so I went and kind of looked at it and everything, and I reached out to her, and she said, well, I bought it. Isn't this you? And she sent me a screen grab from buying it from another person. So it's like, well, fuck. Because, that item's actually pretty cool because we didn't pay a whole ton for that item. And let me see, I think we got that on our trip. Yeah, we got that on our trip when we went down to St. Charles, Missouri. We paid $7.56 for it. When it does sell, it's up for $125. So we'll make some good money on it when it does, but we didn't that day. And then just a few days later, just a couple days ago actually, we had someone buy it, and I was like, oh shit, cool, awesome. Well, they immediately sent over a thing to cancel it. They ordered by mistake. Man, I'm not sure how you order by mistake. I've got a little story about another product we did sell here in a minute, but I don't know how you order by mistake. I mean, you either click order or you don't, I don't get it. But anyway, I canceled it, and so we didn't really lose anything there, but it's just a pain in the ass. So things like that are going to come up. And, realistically, I get it. The customer's always right. And that's why eBay has these rules and does things this way. But realistically, the biggest reason they do it that way is because they're in it to make money. They're in it to make money off of you and off of the customer. And so if you please the customer, there you go. There's not a lot of competition for them as far as where places where you can go sell things. There's more now than there ever has been, but there's nothing like eBay out there. So they kind of got you by the short hairs, they say, on this sort of deal. But let's talk about some good things that did happen over the past couple weeks. Some good things we did sell, okay? Top 5 sales, all right. The first one is going to be this vintage, and it looks like it's 1950s Wonder Art Jesus Christ concave face porcelain bust. And the eyes and the whole face actually follows you when you walk around it. It's kind of spooky. We had it upstairs and the kids were like, "Eey." And not that they're scared of Jesus or anything. That's not the point. The point is the way the eyes follow you and the face follows you. But, we found this in St. Charles also. And my wife nabbed this thing. But it costs a pretty penny, man. I mean, it costs like $22 or something like that. But, they seem to be selling pretty well. So we went ahead and bought it. It ended up selling for a good amount, for $69.39. I mean, that's pretty solid. You're almost tripling your money there. But by the time you go with shipping and all that jazz, everything adds up. The next thing you know, you turn around and you've walked away with just $23.57. So that kind of sucked. But hey, it's still over the $20 that we like to make on every single thing. So we're not going to cry about it too much, right? Because what's the point in crying? All right. The next thing that we sold and made a profit on, as far as good profits, good sales, would be some Field & Stream hunting boots. They're camouflage hunting boots. I don't remember where we found these. To be honest with you, my wife might have found these on her own. Because, boots pay. I mean, if you can get them for a good deal, you can usually sell them. These ones weren't as particularly awesome as a lot of them. And so, I think we paid $7 for these boots. And they ended up selling, let's see here, for $46.76. Wait, no, $48.78, which is good. There's no two ways about it. But by the time you take out the fees, the shipping, all that jazz, and take everything away, and then the cost of goods, we walked away with $24.94. So $25, again, over our amount that we like to make, which is $20. So the next one was actually a really cool item in general. It's a vintage SpongeBob SquarePants bikini bottom talking alarm clock. And it works. We found this thing at a garage sale, and we paid just $2 for it. They do sell on eBay, obviously, because I think we bought this thing. Let me see. We didn't buy it that long ago. I want to say we bought it, back in August, mid-August. So it took a couple months. But we did sell it within about 2.5 months because it sold just before the end of October. And we ended up selling it for $47.97. Now, you got to remember, that includes shipping. So by the time you take out, eBay's fees, taxes, the shipping, and the cost of goods sold, we walked away with $24.98. Again, $25. Not bad. Not bad. Not great, but not bad. All right. And we'll get to the top 2 here real quick. Let's see. The first one would be the BitBoy Pocket Go version 2. Now, this actually was something of mine. I had this just kind of sitting around. So I don't really say that it costs anything because, I do have a receipt, but it's from like over 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago. So realistically, it's not really any cost to me at this point. I've used it and all that stuff enough that there's no real cost, but it was more than what we sold it for when I bought it. I think I paid $75 for it. And I played it quite a bit and everything. It was really great. It's basically just a little emulator pocket deal. Kind of looked like a Game Boy Advance. I don't know if you remember that one it was kind of long. It had speakers on either side. But yeah, it was really cool and everything. I just don't play it anymore. And I told you guys I'm going to start, or I didn't tell you guys. I guess I talked about it in the other podcast, the Dad Snark podcast. Go listen to it if you get a chance. But I said, some of these gaming systems and some of the stuff I'm just not using, I'm going to sell. So while, I did pay more for it, we did end up selling it for $68.56. And we walked away after fees and shipping and everything, $52.72 is how I look at it. I don't include what it costs because it's really, over time, it's not worth as much. And so realistically, I got my use out of it. Really, it was free stock. We just sold it. Now, I will tell you on this one, it was kind of weird too, because I had a lady who purchased it and she had the wrong shipping address in there. She had an old address in there and she asked me if I could send it to a different address. Well, you can do that, but you're really taking a risk because chances are eBay won't cover you and give you seller protections if you do that. So I went in and to see if I could. I asked her, well, see if you can go change it, and if you can, no problem. But if you can't, then we'll have to cancel the order and relist it, and then you can buy it then. She was really sorry. She was very nice about it and everything. And that's what ended up happening. I had to cancel the order, relist it. She went in, put in all the correct information this time. We sold it for $68.56. And we made $52.72. So not really too bad of a deal. Like I said, thing was just sitting around here. So not bad. And then the item that made the most profit would be, and this is a big change from the previous episode, because I sold those Converse knee-highs in that last episode. So the highest profit here isn't going to be anywhere near what those were. And I still have a couple of those up for sale, and they look like they could go at any time. This is a SodaStream Revolution machine. So the SodaStream machine, but it's called the Revolution. The reason is for a couple of reasons. Number one, it has a light-up LCD screen, so you can kind of make some changes as to how much carbonation you're going to put in it, blah, blah, blah. But another huge reason is that it actually takes bigger tanks. So really twice as big as the normal tanks for a SodaStream. If you've ever seen one of those, they're kind of skinny tanks. This is kind of a big fatty. And it actually came with that tank, and there's actually a little bit of carbonation in there. So I knew I could only ship it ground in the United States, but somebody bought it. They ended up buying it for $106.20. Now keep in mind, I paid $8 for this thing at a thrift store. $106.20 after shipping and fees and all that stuff and cost of goods sold. Walked away with $54.91. So not bad, man. Made some money off it. I mean, if you really want to get into it, almost made 7 times what I paid for it, which is great. So you can't be too upset about that. The problem is the return on investment percentage on all these sales is pretty low, other than the BitBoy Pocket Go version 2. But that's a little different. But the other ones, they're 50% or just a touch over 50% or less. I mean, it's right around that 50% area. So, of what the sale price is. So we walk away with 50% or so of the sale price. And as you know from before, we walked away with a lot more. So you get spoiled. This is what happens. I don't know what I'm going to do when we start selling live, because I'm going to be letting things go for exactly what we paid for them. But, income is income. So you got to think about it that way. But yeah, guys, I'm doing better. Things are going better. And like I said, we're going to be picky and choosy about what it is we're listing. Going to do a lot of the free advertising that's in eBay, going out there on social media to sell. stuff. And so, it is what it is. And it's not super duper great sales, but better than nothing. We definitely have had quite a few sales. Not as many. Sales have slowed down a little bit. I don't know what's going on. If it's supposed to be fourth quarter, man, where you sell stuff like crazy. And I thought that's what was going on in the previous episode, but this could just be a little residual from me not doing much for a while. And like I was telling you guys, you got to commit. What I do is I make sure I list at least one thing a day. Most of the time that goes through stock that's going to get relisted that day, inventory. And what I'll do is end those listings and then go into the unsold category, select them all, and then do sell similar. It creates a whole new listing, even though you don't have to fulfill anything. You can change anything you want, but you don't have to fill any new information in. And then you just go ahead and post those, and then you go back to the unsold and you delete those original listings. That's what I do. And it seems to work pretty well. So I always get at least that amount of listings in, whatever it is. But sometimes there's no listings that day, so I got to make sure I put at least one new item up for sale on there. And that's kind of what I've been doing. And, like I said, guys, just stick with what your plan is. This plan for us is never to make enough money to live on, really. This is just something that my wife and I will do as a hobby when we retire. And we enjoyed doing it. I mean, obviously going out and finding the things is the most fun. But we enjoy making money off this, and we enjoy finding those needles in a haystack. And it's just a good time. We have a little thing where we go back and forth. Who made the most? I mean, her bell thing's always going to win for a while, I think. But, it's fun. And in addition, we'll make some extra money, for us to go out to eat places or, save up and go on vacations when we're retired, that sort of thing. So we're not just, old people around the house, even though that'll probably be most of our life. So stick with your plan. That's what our plan is. It's just to have this thing up and running well. So we got return customers and it's established, And then when we're doing it, not really full time, but close to, we'll spend a little more time on it all the time and we'll make more money. And our goal is we're not quite to the point where I'd like to be, as far as I don't think we're making enough extra money in sales to say, okay, well, this is good enough. I can tell you that a lot of times we're making about $1,500 a month in sales. Right now, in the last month, we've only made just a little bit over 1,000. So sure, I mean, you can cut, 50, and it says I'm down 33.4% over the last month. But if you take $1,500 and you take 50%, that's 750 extra bucks a month. So that you save that over a year, you do have a nice vacation, very nice vacation, and definitely ample for what we'll need. I don't know. We're getting ready to go on our first cruise in May. We're doing this for my daughter who's graduating, and she will she's taken 5 years of Spanish. So we're going to go to some ports in Mexico. But that'll be our first cruise. Who knows? We might get hooked on those. I got a friend who is, and asked him all kinds of questions when we were thinking about doing this. So the point is that, if we're happy enough with making a few extra bucks a month, and on top of that, we're doing something that we have fun doing and spending time together, I'd say we won. That's all I need. Yeah, sure, I'd like to make $5,000 a month or more, but I don't know if that's going to be happening anytime soon. So I'm not really going to sweat it too much. The other thing is, in the future, I don't know how much money we're going to have to go out and put on inventory. I mean, we'll probably be reinvesting some of that money into inventory every month. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes when that day comes. Right now, just trying to build it up. So whatever you're doing, if you're quitting your job and you're going to do this full time, you got to pour everything into it. You got to get ready to, commit to it, because there are times when it's going to suck and you're not getting any sales, So just know that. Commit to what it is you're doing. Try and do the best you can, and you'll probably be pretty happy, I'm guessing. So that's all I got, guys. I appreciate you guys listening. I will catch up with you guys in a couple weeks. Hopefully I have some good sales to talk to you about at that point. But you guys take it easy, and happy hunting if you're out there looking for inventory, and happy selling to all my friends who have inventory they're trying to sell. Take it easy. I'll see you later.